Hi, my name's Andrew, and for my project I decided to create a Twitter account for a plant so that it could tweet to me when it needs to be watered. After a quick Google search, I found this website called Tronix Stuff that has a good tutorial on how to do this, how to hook up an Arduino that's enabled with Ethernet to Twitter. Alright, so the first thing I had to do was create a Twitter account that I was going to use for my plant that I'm going to tweet these tweets from. So that's what I did. I called it plant. You can see a few tweets that I've already done. It was successful. And so this tutorial gives you a sample code that you can use and that I used to make all this happen. And the two things that you have to insert into the code are an IP address for your Ethernet shield and a token, and they provide a token for you. And so to get a token, this token is going to be used to communicate with Twitter so that it knows which account to make these tweets from within the code. So within the code you write your tweet, and then the code uses that token there to communicate with Twitter so that Twitter knows which account to tweet from. So all you have to do is click on this link here, and it will send you to this site, and they hook you up with the token. So the token is just a big long list of symbols. So you save that and then put it into the code where it's requested. Alright, now to set up the IP address, you can go to Start and type in CMD, and bring up this command prompt, and within that you can type in IP config, and it'll bring up IP stuff. So this number right here is the IP address of my personal computer, and this one down here is the IP address of my router. And so what we have to do is create an IP address for our Ethernet shield. So what I did is I switched up this last number, so it would be 192.168, and then what did I use? 177. So it's above my computer IP address. So that way my router can communicate with my Arduino. Alright, and so then once I got the IP address set and the token put in, I needed to deal with these libraries up here. So if you go back to the link I used to get the token, they give you this download here for an Arduino tweet library. So you download that and put it into this folder here so that the code can use those to communicate with Twitter. I'm not totally sure what goes on inside those libraries. I'm sure it's something very exciting. So after I downloaded the libraries and put in the IP address and the token, I moved on to the rest of the code. And the bulk of the code deals with those libraries. So I left all this part up here alone and moved on to the part that actually deals with the tweeting down here. So what I did is I hooked up a push button to the Arduino so that if the push button is pressed, it'll trigger these tweets to go off. So let's say you water the plant and you push the button. So what would happen is it would tweet to Twitter, water, the plant's happy. So then after a certain amount of time, depending on the type of plant, you can set this time to like 1 or 2 days. And then after 1 or 2 days, it would tweet, water me, because the plant's thirsty now. So the point of the first part here, the water, is so that if one of my roommates wants to, they could follow my plant on Twitter and help me out with watering the plant. And so then this tweet would come up after they watered it so that I would know not to water it. That way the plant doesn't get overwatered. And so I'm going to move on to a little demonstration. I guess I can show you the hardware really quick. So we have just a push button. It's pretty simple. And then you have to add some additional power, external power source, because the USB doesn't provide enough alone to power the Ethernet shield with the Arduino. Alrighty, so here's a little demonstration for you. I'm going to go ahead and push the button. You see I got a little tweet. It says, "Water me!" And so imagine the next few seconds are a day or two. Then eventually, oh yes, I have to water my plant. Alrighty, so that was my project, and one of the things that I would like to improve on this project is to get an actual wireless shield so that it doesn't actually have to be connected via all these cables. And so if any of you guys know of a wireless shield in the electronics room, you should let me know, so I couldn't find one. Other than that, you can follow my Twitter, my plant Twitter. Yeah.